Namaste and welcome to this full moon practice of flow and restore yoga. My name is Michelle Chua, and you'll want to grab, if you have the following props: 2 blocks, a strap, a bolster, and a blanket. If it feels comfortable to begin in supported hero's pose, I invite you to grab a block or two and have a seat on top with your ankles framing the block so your toes are pointed back, knees just in front of you. And as with any of our physical postures, please listen to your own body as you know it best and adjust to whatever variation of posture is most appropriate for each moment. So with that, welcome to this full moon, super moon. I believe it's also a blue moon in Aquarius. Here is some information from Magic of I, written by astrologer Colin Bedell. So this Aquarius full moon's theme is courage, creativity, and fun. Aquarius moves us from the plausible to the possible, pushing us beyond the constraints of what we know into the realm of imagination. As the full moon illuminates these themes, we face the challenge of fortifying our identities by embracing the shift. Aquarians, with their future-focused thinking, remind us that today's fantastical ideas are often the seeds of tomorrow's realities. They encourage us to dream bigger and embrace the inevitable possibility of powerful change. This full moon opposes the Sun-Mercury conjunction in Leo, offering a powerful integration of the Aquarius mind with the Leo heart, where intellect meets passion, and we can inform, inspire, move, and motivate. By harmonizing these energies, we can rise to the challenges and encourage others to join us. When Leo and Aquarius integrate, we learn that anything is truly possible. So together, let's move forward to the future. Here is a suggested illumination or a mantra. I accept new challenges to fortify my identity. It inspires those around me to do the same. So with that, I invite you to take a moment to perhaps reflect on the past few weeks from the new moon, as the moon was waxing, or at least being more illuminated, towards today's full moon. What has come to fruition for you since your new moon's intention settings, or just in the past few weeks? What new projects may you have completed, achievements, insights? What can you celebrate or bring closure to? And as with every full moon, what's arising in you? Emotionally, energetically, as those of us especially who are so-called empaths or feel energy more sensitively, we can notice more deeper emotions that we may not usually give our attention to, coming more to the forefront of our attention. So what's surfacing in you? What's there to observe in your heart mind? And then lastly, as you might consider your intention for this full moon practice, is there anything that you would benefit from, as well as those around you would benefit from in their highest selves and their highest goodness, if you set an intention to let go of something, to release something that is no longer serving well-being? This could be a habit. Sometimes we have habits of thinking, things that we say to ourselves mentally that we might not even be aware of because they are such deeply embedded beliefs. But as I said, in the full moon, things can surface more to clarity, to realize these things. Or these could be physical habits, routines. So is there anything that you may like to set an intention to release on this full moon? And with that, let's take a moment to check in with ourselves. Notice your physical body and any sensations. Mentally scanning throughout. Feel your overall energy by sensing the natural flow of breath. Notice how you're feeling mentally and emotionally. Allowing it to be there just as it is. I invite you to deepen the breath, filling up through the nose, releasing out through the mouth. A few more times, exhaling through the mouth and breathing in slightly deeper each time. Is there anything you would like to offer gratitude for opening our practice with appreciation to open our heart minds? Invite you to mentally or out loud clarify your intention on this full moon practice. And then choose somebody you would like to dedicate your practice to today, extending them loving kindness. And together, let's join our voices in chanting Om, the sound of interconnection, 3 times. Let in a deep breath. Let's continue to deepen the breath, inviting balance of energy, focus, and calm by practicing Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breathing, where you close the lips and if you can, just breathing through the nose, softly constrict the back of your throat so that you can hear a gentle whispering sound in your breath to help you regulate it. That it's balanced in length of in-breath and out-breath and sustained. So now as you're listening to your own breathing, establish a slow and steady, smooth rhythm that will soon move our bodies to in our vinyasa flow. And with that, listening to your breath, please make your way into downward facing dog. Lifting your hips high as you spread your fingers wide on the ground. Allow a few breaths to explore movement of any kind that your body may need to loosen up here. On this full moon, we'll continue opening up in the area of the hips
inviting our connection, our healthy relationship with our emotions as they might arise in amplification today, as well as third eye center. But we'll have a whole body physical practice. Begin a walk to the front of your mat, entering a standing forward fold with your hands clasped behind your back. Set your feet apart at least hips distance parallel and bend your knees enough to really relax your spine. Let the head fall loosely. Maybe you sway the spine and shake and nod the head as you're stretching the arms further away from your lower back. See if you can create space throughout the neck by lifting the shoulders, bending the elbows slightly, and tuning into the breath. Release the arms, bend the knees a little more, and with your next inhalation, roll your spine slowly upright. When you get towards the top, circle your shoulders forward and up, and with an exhale, release them back and down. Let's try that a couple more times. Inhale, shoulders forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Let's join the hands in prayer at heart center in Padasana, mountain pose. Tuning into your intention on this full moon practice. And bringing that feeling tone and energy into how you move your body to your breath and hold yourself up in asanas, poses. Let's begin by offering gratitude to the sun. Beautiful energy that complements the lunar energy. Sun salutation, C. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, roll your shoulders back and down. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Plant your fingertips outside your heels. Inhale, step your left knee behind you. Kneeling lunge, look up. As you hold your breath, step into plank pose, top of a push-up. Exhale, lower your knees, then your chest, then your chin. Inhale, slither forward and soften your shoulders back into cobra. Exhale, lift your hips back, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb. Lower your right knee and gaze up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Root down to your feet, inhale, rise, lifting your heart towards the sun and the moon. Exhale, join your palms at heart center. Side two. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow forward in Uttanasana. Plant your fingertips and inhale, step the right knee back in Anjaneyasana. Hold your breath as you step to plank pose. Exhale, lower knees, chest, then chin. Inhale, slither forward and draw your shoulders back in cobra. Exhale, lift your hips back, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot beside your right thumb, left knee down, look up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and fold. Rooting down to your soles, inhale, rise. Lifting your heart towards the sky. Exhale, join your hands to unite in prayer. We're going to take a variation of the moon salutations. Step your feet together to touch. And inhale, raise your arms overhead, interlacing your fingers except the index. As you exhale, lean to your left, side bend. Inhale up to center. Exhale, lean to your right, side bend. Inhale up to center and step your left knee behind you to a kneeling lunge. Breathing here, lift your heart and sink your hips. As you exhale, straighten the legs into pyramid pose. Press the back heel down, square your hips to face forward and bow in. Align the right heel to intersect the arch of the left foot and keep your right hand on your right shin or just to the right of it, maybe on a block. Inhale to triangle pose, raising your left arm towards the sky. Wrap your right glute under and spin your chest open. Exhale, rise up and turn out both legs. So you're in a wide-legged squat as you bend the knees. Inhale, turn the palms to face up, maybe thumb and index fingers to touch. Goddess pose, also called full moon pose. And as you exhale, step the left foot to meet the right, mountain pose. Join your hands in prayer. Second side, feet together touching. Inhale, raise your arms overhead. Interlace your fingers except the index. This time as you exhale, side bend to the right first. Inhale up to center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale up to center. Exhale, step the right knee behind you to a kneeling lunge. Plant the fingertips down on blocks of the floor. And inhale, sink your hips and gaze up. Exhale, straighten the legs for pyramid pose. Spin the back heel down, square your hips forward, and bow in. Align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. Keep your left hand down on your left shin or just to the left, maybe on a block. For triangle pose, raise the right arm to the sky. Wrap the left glute under you and spin your chest open. One more in-breath. As you exhale, rise up and turn out both legs from the hips. Bend your knees, flip the palms to face up, maybe thumb and index fingers to touch. Deep breath here in full moon pose or goddess pose. Exhale, straighten the legs and step up to the front of your mat. Now let's try that sequence again, once on each side, in honor of the full moon. Variation of the moon salutations, Chandra Namaskar. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, interlace your fingers except the index. Exhale to the left, side bend. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right, side bend. Inhale, center. Exhale the left knee behind you to a kneeling lunge, fingertips down. Inhale, sink your hips and lift your heart towards the moon. Exhale, straighten your legs and bow into pyramid pose. Keep the hips squared forward, back heel down. Keep the right hand down, align heel to arch. Inhale the left arm up to triangle pose. Exhale, rise up and turn out both legs from the hips. Inhale, bend your knees, flip the palms to face up, goddess pose or full moon pose. Exhale, rise up and step to the top of your mat, mountain pose. Second side, last one. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, interlace the fingers except the index. Exhale, this time to the right, side bend. Inhale up to center. Exhale to the left, side bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, step the right knee behind you to a kneeling lunge. Lower the fingertips, staying here. Inhale, sink your hips, lift your heart towards the full moon. Exhale, straighten your legs and fold to pyramid pose, dropping the back heel. Align heel to arch and raise the right arm as you inhale to triangle pose. Exhale, rise up and turn out both legs. To prepare for goddess pose, bend the knees on an inhale, flip the palms up, full moon pose. Exhale, straight legs, step up to the top of your mat. And take a pause here. Sense the quality of your breath and your attention. Shifting your weight onto your left foot as I mirror you, turn out your right thigh at the hip and prepare for tree pose, Vrikshasana. So rooting down through toes spread, hug the inside of your left ankle, calf, or thigh with the sole of your right foot. Try to balance the height of your left and right hips as you lightly engage your lower belly, and maybe add some branches if your balance feels steady. Maybe you close your eyes, maybe you look up. Last few breaths in Vrikshasana. Joining your hands in prayer, step the right foot to meet the left, let in a full breath. And this time open the mouth, sigh it out. Sealing the lips again. Listen for that whisper in your breathing. Shift your weight onto your right foot, turn out the left thigh at the hip. Hug the sole of your left foot onto your inner right ankle, calf, or thigh, coming into your version of Vrikshasana, tree pose. Maybe you join palms overhead. Maybe you gaze up or close the eyes.
Sense the energy in which you are holding yourself in this posture. Notice by the quality of your breathing. One more deep breath. And exhale, step it down. Let's step the feet wide apart using the wide width of your mat. Parallel your feet for wide-legged forward fold. And you may want to have blocks in front of your feet if the ground feels too low to reach your hands onto. That's an option. So start with your hands on your hips. Inhale, roll your shoulders back. Exhale, as you hinge from your hips to bow, cultivate the feeling of a flat back, really long through the neck. So if needed, bend your knees and try to align your ankles with your hips. Lower your hands on blocks of the floor. And as you breathe in, stretch your spine forward. Let's add a twist while we're here. So place one hand below the heart on the ground or a block and raise the opposite arm towards the sky. Keep your pelvis still as you twist in the direction of your lifted arm. With your inhales, root down to your feet. Feel the stability of your legs and stretch the spine forward. With your exhales, hug your outer hips still and continue to rotate your rib cage in the same direction. One more deep breath. As you exhale, switch hands and inhale, lengthen the crown of your head forward. Exhale, twist to the opposite direction. Breath by breath. One more deep breath. And exhale, both hands down. Here are a few options. You could bend the knees a lot and hold opposite elbows and sway the spine. You could clasp your big toes with your peace fingers, pulling yourself deeper into the fold so that you can drop the head and bend the elbows apart to lift the shoulders. Those of you that practice headstand, tripod headstand is available by creating a triangular base out of your two palms, which are way back, pretty much in alignment with your heels. Crown of the head is forward, and keeping the arms parallel to each other, press the ground away with your hands to lift the shoulders and create space in the neck. Whatever you're practicing, whatever inversion, let's tune in for a few last breaths. With feet on the earth, crawl your fingertips forward to rise halfway up and pause. Draw the shoulders back. Then crawl your hands to the front of your mat and pivot to face the front in a lunge, stepping back into downward facing dog. Well, we'll come into our first yin and restorative position of single pigeon pose. Now, those of you that opt to take the supine version, you can lie on your back and take what's called thread the needle. So start in single pigeon. If you're in downward dog, turn out the right thigh. Flex or slide, not flex, slide the right shin across your mat in front of your pelvis and lower to sit with your left leg straight behind you. Now, place your hands alongside your hips, and as you lift the pelvis, draw the right outer hip back so that your right knee is pointing towards your right wall and not towards the front of your mat. Rotate the left outer hip forward. If there is a gap between the ground and your right glute, grab whatever props you can comfortably fill that gap with so that you can keep your hips squared, facing forward. If your right shin is able to parallel the front edge of the mat, make sure that you're flexing your right foot by pressing the big toe mound out to the left wall to stabilize your right knee. And then from here, you may like to set up props to catch you, such as a pillow to bear hug, or something to rest your forehead on, or you may want to come into the other thread, the needle, which is a spinal twist to open your upper back. If the latter, place your right fingertips on the ground about towards the upper right corner of your mat, bending the right elbow towards the sky. Thread your left arm
underneath your right bent elbow and lower the left side of your head all the way down. Now, if your head does not comfortably meet the ground, again, grab whatever props you can comfortably support your head with. Relax the shoulders back, down away from the neck. All right. Notice if there's any last little adjustment you need to make in your body so that you can be still for 2 full minutes here. I'm watching the clock. And I invite you, as you continue to listen to and regulate your breathing, to also notice if anything arises, such as sensations and thoughts, emotions. As it's said that our hips carry many of our emotions, especially the ones that we tuck away and don't face in the moment they arise. And for whatever you observe that may arise for you, can you practice just observing it without judging it or yourself or your body? Just bringing a loving presence to what you observe. And tune into one more deep clearing exhalation where you are. If you're on your back, stay on your back and take a moment to circle your legs in opposite directions before switching sides. Otherwise, gently begin to rise back to downward facing dog, and maybe circle the right leg in the air and just give your right thigh bone some movement at the hip. Take your time switching sides. If you're in downward dog, turn out your left thigh at the hip. Cross your left shin in front of your pelvis as you lower to sit with your right leg straight behind you. Framing your hips, lift the pelvis and draw your left outer hip back. Rotate your right outer hip forward and see if it might be helpful to place a prop under your left glute so that you can keep your hips facing forward. If your left shin is able to parallel the front edge of your mat, make sure you're flexing the foot, pressing the big toe mound towards the right wall. And then see if you can come into the same variation of the posture as you did on the first side, though the intensity will depend on what's available here as you're observing that. So maybe you come into the twist if you did so on the first side, left hand towards upper left corner of the mat, and right arm slides underneath the left bent elbow as you lower the right side of your head all the way down, maybe resting on the pillow. So see if your body needs any adjustments. Allow yourself to find stillness, letting go of fidgeting as we're here now for 2 minutes. Sense the flow of the breath, bringing loving awareness to what you notice arises and goes. we're down to one last deep breath. Taking your time. Again, if you're on your back, you may want to come into happy baby pose, or if you're coming back to downward dog, maybe take a moment to lift the left leg and give it some movement at the hip. Take your time as we meet sitting wide-legged towards a straddle, facing the wide width of your mat. You may find it helpful to sit on a folded blanket if your back tends to round, and have some props within arm's reach. You may like to have a block in front of your pelvis as you're using your hands to cup the top of your thighs. Rotate your inner thighs back to invite your sitting bones to firm downward and to slightly lift your frontal hip bones. Placing your hands in front of you, lengthen up to your chest and the back of your skull, sliding the shoulders back and down. Now try to keep your knees and your toes pointing upwards during this posture, which is a variation of Upavishta Konasana. Now you may like to set up a second block, or maybe have a pillow propped on blocks or with blankets on top that you can bear hug, similar to single pigeon pose, or have a pillow to catch your forehead, a block to catch your forehead, you decide. So root down to your left and right sitting bones, let in a deep breath, and take it breath by breath, hinging forward from the hips. Finding the degree to bow forward in which you can keep your neck long and your shoulders relaxed. Maybe there's a slight rounding in the shoulders, but not enough to close off the breath or create tension. So find the amount of your forward fold that works for you. Make any adjustments so that you can be still. And we're going to be here a little longer this time, 3 minutes, starting now. I invite you to come back to really stretching your breath to the very top of the inhale. Smoothly transition to the very bottom of the exhale. Really taking your time to fully expand with each in-breath and fully release with each out-breath. And tune into the emptiness at the end of this exhalation before you very slowly press your hands into the ground and lift your torso upright to sit. Placing your hands on your outer thighs, gather your knees together towards the front edge of your mat. And let's prepare for a supine version of hero's pose with a combination of supported fish pose, a heart opener. So let's set up for the supported fish pose first. Let's set up with the greatest amount of support so that once you're lying back, if you feel like you need less support, you can just peel off layers rather than trying to find ways to add layers. So place one block medium height at the furthest end of your mat, wide across the mat. Place the second block lowest height, wide across the mat, spacing the blocks about the length of your bolster, so that one block can be at the furthest end of the bolster and one block can be towards the lowest end, like this. And then go ahead and add, if you have another pillow or a folded blanket, go ahead and add that on top like this, wide across, so that this gives a little opening in the chest. The back of the head will be on the flatter lower part of the pillow. And then let's find a seat in hero's pose. Now, if hero's pose does not suit you for some reason, if you've got knee issues, like when I had knee surgery, I cannot bend my knees like this. Then you can instead maybe opt for bound angle pose, soles of the feet together, knees bent like this. If you have something to place underneath the outer knees to support your legs, if they're lifting away from the ground, you can do that. Or you can straddle the legs straight apart or step the feet on the ground. So you've got a lot of options. Those of you that are in supine hero's pose, you can either sit directly on your calves, maybe place a folded towel between the ankles if you need, or if it's comfortable enough, gently roll the calves slightly aside so that you can sit on the ground directly in between your ankles. Now just make sure to support the safe alignment of your knees by not turning out your feet or turning in your feet. You want your toes pointing straight back, so try to feel every toenail pressing into the ground equally. Also, keep your knees on the ground. If it helps to put a pillow on your thighs, just to feel that weight to remind you to keep the knees on the ground. Have your knees no wider apart than hips distance. All right, from here, pelvis is really close to the end of the pillow. Now you can start to lean back. And you can adjust if needed. If you had the blanket underneath, you want it to be pretty much underneath the bottom tips of the shoulder blades so that the shoulder bones can roll off the blanket and you can feel a stretch in the chest, wide across the chest like this. And if you're leaning back and you're feeling like, I feel pretty open in the shoulders and a little open in the quadriceps, I would like to feel a little more depth in this pose. That's when you can start to peel off some layers. Maybe remove the blanket and see how that feels. Maybe remove the bolster and adjust the blocks. You could create an equal sign out of the blocks, each the same height, like the medium height wide across the mat. See if there's any adjustments to be made because we're going to be here longer, 4 minutes. Make sure that you are comfortable so that you don't need to fidget within those 4 minutes. And then maybe close the eyes. Come back to noticing how or what you can hear in your breathing as you regulate slow, balanced in and out breaths through the nose. Meanwhile, observing what there is to notice internally.
All right, taking your time, stay aware of your breathing. Begin to press your hands into the ground. Very slowly lift your head, lift your torso, and slide your legs out in front of you. Stretching the legs forward, you might give your knees a very gentle rub in circular motions. Maybe roll out your feet, as that was also a deep stretch for the ankles. I invite you to find a comfortable seated position in which you can practice one more pranayama to help us tune deeper inward before we rest in corpse pose and sit for meditation. So find a way to sit that allows you to feel grounded, alert, relaxed, where breath and energy can flow freely. This breathing technique is called alternate nostril breathing, Nodi Shodhana Pranayama. Not only does it help to relax your nervous system and draw your attention deeper inward, awakening your intuitive energy, it also helps to balance the lunar and the solar, the feminine, sometimes called, and the masculine energy that resides within all of us. And so let's begin by resting the left hand on the lap. You may want to place the hand in Gyan Mudra, another posturing of the hands in which the thumb and index fingers touch and the palm is face up. That invites inward focus. The right hand, let's place it in Vishnu Mudra, sticking out the thumb, pinky, and ring fingers. While we practice, we're going to close the right nostril with the right thumb like this. We'll close the left nostril with the right ring and pinky fingers like this. Alternate nostril breathing. And I'll invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes as you're practicing the pranayama. Also helps to draw the attention inward. Let's practice 3 cycles together and continue 3 cycles on your own. So prepare to begin by inhaling fully through the nose and opening the mouth, letting it go. And then close the mouth. Right thumb, close right nostril. Inhale left for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it in for 2, 1. Close left. Exhale right for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it out for 2, 1. Stay here. Inhale right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Close right. Exhale left. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Second cycle. Inhale left. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Close left. Exhale right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Inhale right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Close right. Exhale left. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Third cycle. Inhale left for 6. Hold 2. Close left. Exhale right for 6. Hold 2. Inhale right for 6. Hold 2. Close right. Exhale left for 6. Hold 2. On your own, continue 3 more cycles. When you've finished, continue to breathe naturally and notice anything you feel. As you feel ready, begin to gently lower your body into your final resting pose. You may want to use props or no props. Find a way to comfortably lie down in stillness for the next few minutes before we sit for meditation again. Let your body rest right where it is, keeping the eyes still closed. Notice how your physical body feels right now. Sensing the effects of your physical yoga practice. And little by little, moving very slowly and gently, begin to wake up your body, easing into simple stretches. Take your time slowly turning over onto your right side and resting your head there for a few moments. Pausing to witness the flow of the breath. Notice how your energy feels. Still moving very slowly, gradually press your hands into the earth and lifting your head, lifting your torso. Find a comfortable way to sit for our 5 minutes of sitting meditation. You may like to place your hands both in Gyan Mudra, as you did with your left hand during alternate nostril breathing. Or you may like to stack your palms face up on your lap with thumb tips touching. Another mudra that invites concentration and neutral mind. If it makes sense to you, close your eyes, otherwise steady a gentle downcast gaze. I invite you to begin resting your awareness softly on the natural breath. Feeling it come in and out. And just like we did during our restorative and yin postures, continue to feel the breath as you notice anything that arises and goes, whether they be thoughts, emotions, sensations, or intuitive nudges, anything. I invite you to reconnect with your intention that you set for this full moon practice. You might mentally or out loud say it to yourself. And in light of the full moon, was there anything that you intended to release or begin to let go of, as we talked about in the beginning? And if so, how does it feel to begin to release that, or even to just bring attention to releasing that? I invite you to focus on the benefits of having let that go. Using your imagination to tap into the feeling tone of having released it. Sensing how that will affect and is already affecting your well-being, your highest well-being, and the greatest well-being of those around you. So that if self-doubt arises as you continue to release what you've chosen, you can come back to what you have imagined here. Why, your why, the benefits, and how it feels to have released that. Letting that overpower self-doubt. Now notice how you're feeling mentally and emotionally. Invite you to imagine to whom you dedicated today's practice. Sensing them receiving your loving kindness. And together, let's close the practice with a thought of gratitude. Anything, anyone you would like to offer gratitude to. Gratitude to the cosmos and the moon, bathing us in her loving energy, reminding us to go inward and to not be afraid to confront our shadows, remembering that medicine that lies within them. And gratitude to our ancestors, those who've come before us, who through their lives and their efforts, we get to enjoy what we enjoy today in our lives, such as yoga. And let's close chanting Om 3 times. Let in a deep breath. Bowing in, honoring the light within. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.